I'm Barbara. Welcome to this week's episode of Craft Corner Kits to Go. We're in summer reading now, and our theme this year is Oceans of Possibility. So I thought it'd be fun if we made a seahorse picture. This picture can be made out of a paper plate and some crepe paper and some sequins. You need paint. I've got a Google eye, and you need your white glue and your scissors. So to start out with, you want to take your plate, paper plate, before you cut on it, and use whatever colors of paint that you would like for your seahorse to be. And I took and I mixed, I poured a little bit of several different colors and mixed them all up so that I could get this really neat color for my seahorse. You have a template that's going to come in your kit, and you want to cut it out. This is made with cardstock so that you can trace it. So after this dries, you cut out your template, and you take your seahorse and you lay it on the edge of your paper plate. Now, these little ridges of the paper plate are what makes texture for your fins for your seahorse. So take your seahorse and lay it up against the side of your paper plate, and take a pencil or a pen and trace around your seahorse. All right, so I have traced around my seahorse, and you can see I've got my lines, and I'm going to take my scissors and cut out my seahorse. And when you're finished, you have a seahorse with some texture along its fins and its upper head and down its back. So now the next step is we want to make this, we want to give it an eye, and we want to make some shinies on it. So I've got a marking pen, and I'm going to use the marking pen and just kind of make little lines here for the seahorse fins, and also where the tail curls, maybe some lines on these fins, and some line up here on the mane. So I've drawn some lines. Then I'm going to take my white glue and a paintbrush, and you just run some white glue along the edges, maybe even up along the tail here. So I've got some white glue, and I've got a paintbrush here, and I'm just kind of spreading this. And then I'm going to take my sequins and just sprinkle them in the glue. Just for some sparkle on your seahorse. Then when you're done, you can shake them off so that you don't have the loose ones. And you want to let that dry. And you're also going to take your Google eye and a glue dot. I'm going to go ahead and set this brown paper over here because you're going to need it. So we're going to take a glue dot and some a Google eye. And that on your eye, and put your eye on your seahorse. So again, I'm going to set this aside and let it dry, and we'll go ahead and we'll work on our background. You should have in your kit 2 pieces of crepe paper, and you're going to take your scissors and cut down the middle of each piece. Then you want to cut down the middle again. When you're finished, you will have 8 pieces of crepe paper. Now it's going to be very simple. You just want to take a glue dot and glue this to the top of the page. About 3/4 of an inch in, and continue to glue these all the way across. Now you've got them all done, and you just take your scissors and go along and trim the bottom edge. Now we're ready to put our seahorse in the ocean. So what I would do for this is go ahead and put a couple of glue dots on the back of the seahorse, maybe at the top of the head, maybe one at the back of the wings. Now my guy isn't really dry yet, but you really should wait for it to dry before you do this. But I'm trying to get this video for you guys so that we can do this together. So I'm cutting corners, but do as I say, not as I do. All right, so I'm going to take my little seahorse and I'm going to slip him behind some of the seagrass. So you just kind of work him back there until you get him positioned where you want him. And I'm going to put him in front of some of the seagrass and then behind some other. So some of the seagrass will be in front of him, some of it will be behind him, and then we're just going to lean in and push on those different places that we've put glue dots, maybe even set a couple more in here. There's one, and now we've got one. So now my seahorse is hiding in the grass at the bottom of the ocean. And there you go. That's it for this week's episode of Craft Corner Kits to Go. And we'll see you next week.